Hi, I'm Nicole Marie Finch, productivity and work mindset trainer. I support employers and managers like you in providing workshops and trainings for their teams that teach how we can increase or at least maintain productivity while also decreasing stress and burnout. Something that I think we all deal throughout the year, but especially this time of the year when we've got year-end activities, all different kind of holidays going on, people who are out of the office, you've got to cover for them. And it can kind of feel like our heads are a snow globe in the hands of a 5-year-old. An analogy I like to use throughout the year, but it's especially relatable this time of the year. I think we can all relate to that thinking of it. So I have 3 of my top tips that I provide in my workshop. I think these are really good, especially for someone who is just kind of starting out, just trying to find something to calm that chaos and let the dust and that snow globe settle. Because when we do that, we can see more clearly, we can have a bit more calm and peace, and we can be more aware of different kinds of opportunities and ideas that may help us in whatever our goals are. And overall, just feel a bit more in control of things. And if you feel that you're all over the place, well, you kind of are. They show us in studies that on average, 8 to 10 times every hour, we have to completely shift our focus from one thing to the next. That's every 6 to 8 minutes. You're working on one thing, something comes up, whether it's a phone call, someone coming by your desk, an email, notification, a text message, all different reasons why we can be interrupted. Another study showed that it can take around 25 minutes to get back to that peak level of productivity that you had after a distraction or interruption. So that math doesn't quite work out, right? Hence the snow globe effect. So my goal in providing these are my top 3 tips. I think if you just do these 3 things, you'll start to feel that snow globe settle. And I'll explain a bit why as we go through the process. So without further ado, let's dig in and see what mysterious things I have hidden here. So, first tip is the big reveal. Practice being present. So, here's the thing. Because we're all over the place, we're often not present in the exact moment that we are really in. We're online for coffee, we are on our phone. We might even be on a conference call and we're multitasking. We're driving and we're daydreaming. Have you ever, for instance, driven somewhere and you get to where you're going, but you don't actually ever remember driving there? You're like, I don't know how I got here. I don't remember the drive at all, but I'm here, so that's good. At least I made it. And you completely space out because you weren't being present. Now, here's the problem with that. When we live in this kind of distracted place, we're not really aware of what's going on. We're kind of like this unaware life, a bit of going through the motions and kind of riding by the seat of our pants. And when we do that and our brain's constantly in this distraction mode, we're going to miss things, we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to kind of feel like that's the snow globe effect foundations when we're all over the place. Practicing being present has a few different benefits. One of the things is you can start to get the dust to settle because you aren't going to be able to think of necessarily new things very easily when you've got all these things your mind's trying to balance. So practice this because then that way when you are in a meeting and you've got to really listen and pay attention or you've got to think on your feet, your mind's going to be more ready to do that. It's not going to be distracted. Have you ever had that time when you're really trying to think hard about something, but you're just thinking about, wait, did I leave the oven on? What am I going to have for dinner? Oh, my kids and their school, whatever, all different things your mind's going to come up with. But if you can practice this in the small moments, you'll be able to be better prepared in the big moments. The second thing why this is so important is that an aware brain, so someone who's living a life where they're being aware of what's going on around them, they're being present, they're noticing what they notice. An aware brain of a person like that looks physically different than someone who's going through the motions. Because a person who lives in this more unaware life and just kind of all over the place, the brain begins to atrophy. It's a very much use it or lose it type of rule. They begin to be less interested and hopeful, whereas someone who is aware is going to be a lot more interested in different things and be more in tune to different opportunities and things that may come their way. You may have an idea as you're starting to practice more of this presence that it's always been an option, but it was never really occurred to you before then. So practice being present in the small moments. When you're in line for coffee, rather than scrolling through your phone, checking emails, look around you, listen, eavesdrop, people watch. Be just in that moment. Notice how the coffee smells and the different colors and people around you. Just kind of be right there. When you're driving, rather than have the radio on or a phone call on or something, spend a few moments, it doesn't have to be the whole car, but just at least a few moments, noticing all the other cars, noticing the trees, noticing the road, still paying attention and driving, of course, but just really just being there, noticing how you feel, and just really noticing what you notice. And so try it in those small moments, because then when you get into the moments where you really need to listen and pay attention, your mind's going to be a little bit more, it's going to be better at that. It's going to have kind of exercise, a little bit, flex that muscle, so to speak. And just being present helps you to listen better as well. And you can think about breathing. It helps sometimes too. If we're trying to not be so distracted, just taking deep breaths helps us to stay more in the moment. So this is going to help. It's going to really good exercise for your brain health. It's going to help you be more aware of opportunities that may be helpful for you, and to start to calm that dust so you're able to focus a bit more on the work that you have at hand. So that's number one tip, and I think that's where I always start, because it always surprises me how many of us don't even know how to be present, which is why hopefully some of those tips I provided will help you. Number two, the big reveal. Take a break. Here's the thing. I know we all got deadlines. I know we all got craziness going on, and the idea of taking a break sometimes sounds like impossible. But our brains lose peak productivity, or they hit peak productivity after about an hour of focused work. So we're at our desk, we're working hard, we're emailing away, doing whatever we've got to do. And after about an hour, our productivity is going to go down. Sometimes we try to push through, we try to get 2-3 hours without taking a break, and we're going to start to struggle. Maybe we're going to make mistakes, maybe things aren't going to be as clear. And that's because our brain needs a break. And a break is not checking email, it's not checking voicemail, it's not going through social media. A break is a true mental break where you can stand up, maybe do some stretching, maybe take a walk. Taking a walk has huge benefits for your mental health. Maybe getting a drink of water. We often are more dehydrated than we realize. Having a snack. A true 5 to 10 minute break of stepping away, not thinking about anything work related, but just giving yourself a moment to breathe. Because oftentimes we're not breathing enough either. When we're getting really into it, we're hunched over at our desks. Take a break. Set an alarm on your phone if needed. I know some people like to do that way you can remember. Every 45 to 60 minutes, think about getting up, taking a 5 to 10 minute break. It's going to help your productivity immensely, because you're going to be able to be sharper. You're going to be able to think about things faster. You're going to be able to get through what you need to get through in a more efficient way, rather than just powering through. It sounds ridiculous, especially when we're really crazy and busy and all over the place. We've got all different kind of phone calls and emails to return. I totally get it. I've been there. In fact, I am there many days. But just having that self-control to step back for a moment, to take a break every hour, is going to make you more efficient and actually be more productive. A little bit of like slowing down to speed up, so to speak, because efficiency is the name of the game. So number 2, take a break every hour. And number 3 is to be intentional. So how many of you start your day and just kind of get right into it? You go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. You're all over the place. A lot of us do. We've got a lot on our plates. And when we just kind of go through the day and just sort of try to make everything work, we're not always being intentional about what is our goal here. We're just trying to get things done. And that can cause, your stress from that meeting to come into that meeting. It can cause, when you're at work, bringing that stress home, bringing the stress from home into work, and we've got that snow globe all over the place. Everything's getting all mixed up, and we're having a hard time really focusing. So if we can take some time to be intentional, you're going to find you're going to feel more in control and more centered as you go through your day. So some of the biggest transitions of the day that we have are, from home to work and work to home. So take a few minutes in your car before you get out of it, when you've when you're park in the parking lot at work, or before you sign on your computer if you work from home. And think about, how do I want to show up for work today? How would my best self show up for work today? What is my goal? Maybe it's a word, maybe it's a phrase, but really set your intention for the day. And same thing when you come home. Before you get out of that car and walk into that house, how do you want to show up for your family? How do you want to show up for yourself, for your pets, whoever may be there waiting for you? Thinking about being intentional. And then in your little moments throughout the day, when you go from one client meeting to the next, or when you're checking emails and then you're going to go spend some time at a client meeting and vice versa, think about how you want to show up each step of the way throughout the day. Just take a long time, just take a few moments to pause and think, how do I want to show up right now? How do my best self show up? What is my intention for this next task? And taking those few moments again to pause, to just think about how do I want to show up, will help to start to let the dust in that snow globe settle. So practice being present, take a break, and be intentional. Now, these are things that if you just do a couple of times, you're going to notice a difference. You're going to notice a difference just in the first few times that you do them. But the idea is, if you do them consistently, that's where the real magic is. If you think about a snow globe, so if you've shaken up a snow globe and then you stop shaking, it's going to swirl around for a while. It might eventually start to calm down a little bit, but it's going to kind of go for a while. And all you have to do is a quick little shake and it's going to be all over the place again. That's kind of if you do these things once in a while. But if you think about it, if you let the dust all the way settle in the snow globe, it takes a good few shakes to really get that thing going again, where it's going to be just kind of swirling all by itself. And the idea is, if you do this consistently, you might still have days where they're off days, or you just got so many things going on where that snow globe gets shaken up again. But if you've done these consistently, it'll get back to that place of rest more quickly. And you'll have that feeling of frazzleness less often, because you're able to get back to that place of calm, control, and centeredness a lot more quickly. So I hope that these 3 tips help you. I love doing these types of workshops. I'll come in and do them for different employee groups, for broader organizations. I have all different kinds of options. I also do some consulting for employers who are looking to incorporate some more of this in their culture as well. And I'd love to help you. But I do hope that these 3 tips help you, help your employees make it through the rest of the season and throughout the year, really, and can hopefully find more fun in the chaos, which is what I'm all about helping us do. If you'd like more information about my services, you can head over to my website, NicoleMarieFinch.com. That's NicoleMarieFinch.com, and you can click the schedule a strategy call, and I'd be happy to talk with you more. Thank you again, Nicole Marie Finch, productivity and work mindset trainer.